village.
Good afternoon. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. Ministry of Agriculture distances itself from fake grant advertisement. Lusaka City Council warns business owners against illegal liquor sales during long weekends. And Zelensky and Trump meet before Pope's funeral. This bulletin is live on our Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and our YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. The Ministry of Agriculture has categorically distanced itself from a misleading advertisement currently circulating on social media platforms titled Expression of Interest for the Agriculture Small and Micro Enterprises SMEs Grant 2025. In a statement issued by Principal Public Relations Officer Balewa Zulu, the ministry has informed members of the public, particularly farmers, agribusinesses, and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector, that it has not issued any such call for applications or grant initiatives under the stated title. Mr. Zulu has emphasized that the document bearing the ministry's name, logo, and purported contact details is unauthorized, fraudulent, and should be discredited in its entirety. He has further clarified that all official communications, including funding opportunities and public calls for proposals, are only disseminated through the ministry's verified communication platforms and channels. Mr. Zulu has urged the public to refrain from engaging with or submitting any information through the fraudulent links provided in the advert. He also disclosed that the ministry has reported the matter to the relevant security authorities for further investigation and possible prosecution of those behind the scam. The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, accountability, and promotion of sustainable agriculture development in Zambia.
The Minister of Agriculture wishes to strongly disown a fake advert that is currently being shared on social media. The advert is titled Expression of Interest for the Agriculture Small and Micro Enterprises SME Grant Initiative 2025. Would like to clearly inform farmers, agribusinesses, and all members of the public that the ministry has not issued any such advert or call for applications. The document using the ministry's name and logo is fake and should be ignored. The ministry reminds the public that all official announcements, including grant opportunities, are only shared through our official website and our verified social media pages.
The Lusaka City Council LCC has issued a stern warning to business owners who illegally sell liquor during long weekends in a bid to maximize profits, urging them to immediately desist from the practice. In a statement, LCC Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba says the local authority is aware of the growing trend and has called on all business entities in the city to operate within the confines of council regulations. Ms. Mwamba has emphasized that the council will strictly enforce the relevant laws, warning that failure to comply with will result in fines, closure of premises, confiscation of liquor stock, and possible prosecution. She has further noted that some businesses, including some shops, have been found violating the Liquor Licensing Act number 220 of 2011 by stocking liquor without licenses and selling alcohol to underage patrons. She stressed that the council police will not hesitate to take action against offenders. Ms. Mwamba has urged all businesses to ensure they obtain the necessary permits and licenses, including valid liquor licenses, business registrations, and compliance with health and safety regulations to avoid facing penalties. The LCC also appealed to residents to help maintain order, uphold the law, and contribute to creating a safe environment during the long weekend.
Lusaka City Council would like to warn business owners who are in a tendency of selling liquor illegally during long weekends as a way of maximizing their profits to immediately desist from doing so. The local authority is aware of this practice and urges all business entities in the city to operate within the confines of the council guidelines. The council will strictly enforce regulations, and failure to comply will result in fines, closure of premises, confiscation of liquor stock, and of course potential prosecution. Notably, some businesses, including home shops, have been observed violating the Liquor Licensing Act by stocking liquor without licenses and selling to underage patrons. The council police will not hesitate to take action.
The task force on the theft of government medicines conducted some raids on several pharmacies in southern, western, and Lusaka provinces. In a named pharmacy in Western Province, some medicines were discovered that were traced to the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency (ZAMSA) database. In a joint statement by Drug Enforcement Commission (DEC) and the Zambia Police Service indicates that upon conducting further investigations which led to Lusaka District in Lusaka Province on 17th April 2025, the task force formally arrested Ruth Ngoma, female aged 56, who was found in possession of assorted medicines with an estimated value of 22,422 kwacha. The subject medicines are reasonably believed to have been stolen from Kalingalinga Health Center. Ngoma was subsequently charged with the offense of theft by public servant, pursuant to Section 277, Cap 87 of the Penal Code of the Laws of Zambia. Furthermore, on 18th April 2025, the task force formally charged and arrested another suspect identified as Audrey Ambala, female, aged 47. The arrest was in connection with the offense of possession of one box of Xenia F property reasonably believed to have been stolen or unlawfully obtained. Other medicines discovered during the course of investigations include Depo-Provera and malaria treatment drugs, among others. The subject medicines have been linked to a non-male foreign national who is currently at large, and a manhunt has been launched to determine the suspect's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Ngoma and Yambala have since been released on police bond while investigations into the matter are ongoing. The undersigned youth led and youth focused civil society organizations, government departments, academic institutions, environmental justice advocates, and community representatives have issued recommendations to the government, relevant ministries, mining companies, civil society organizations, and cooperating partners. They are calling for the effective enforcement of existing environmental and mining laws, including mandatory mine closure plans, pollution penalties, and community consent protocols. They emphasize that regulatory institutions must be adequately resourced to carry out proactive monitoring and evaluation. Speaking at a press briefing where a communique was delivered by participants following a public lecture titled Examining Zambia's Economic Growth Through the Mining Sector Vis-a-vis Environmental Sustainability, held on 16th April 2025, Youth for Climate Justice Program lead, Valepi Banda, further recommended leveraging digital platforms, including social media, to enhance information dissemination and stimulate public engagement on the environmental impacts of mining and the importance of sustainable practices. Ms. Banda has also stressed the need for Zambia to learn from best practices in regional mining governance, such as benefits sharing frameworks adopted by countries like Uganda. She further urged the alignment of national policies with commitments under the Paris Agreement and the African Mining Vision to ensure sustainable development in the mining sector.
Analyze biomonitoring and community-led environmental audits to independently assess mining impacts, promote transparency, and hold polluters accountable. Data from these assessments should be made publicly accessible. We demand for corporate accountability for ecocide. We further demand that companies like Sinometals pay for reparations for the recent contamination of the communication of the Kafue River, rather. Develop a national mineral value addition strategy to reduce dependency on raw exports and increase domestic processing capacity. Establish frameworks for mineral revenue sharing and directly benefit host communities.
The Advocacy for Child Justice (ACJ) has raised concern over the ineffective enforcement and implementation of laws related to child defilement in Zambia. Speaking in an interview with 5FM News, organization executive director Josephat Njovu has stated that although the Zambia Police Service provides quarterly updates on defilement cases, many of these cases fail to progress. Mr. Njovu notes that while thousands of cases are reported, only a few reach the courts and even fewer results in convictions. He has described the low conviction rate as alarming and unacceptable. Mr. Njovu has questioned why are so many cases not going to court. What exactly is causing this systematic failure, emphasizing that these are matters needed to delve into, interrogate, and understand clearly. He has stressed the importance of holding perpetrators accountable and ensuring justice is saved for victims.
We have a number of cases that have been coming through. Every quarter, we have the police telling us and updating the nation in terms of defilement cases. And thousands of those cases do not go anywhere. Thousands of those cases are unaccounted for. We hear thousands of defilement cases, but only a few who actually go as far as the court. And in fact, the conviction rate is very low, which is concerning. So those are some of the issues that we need to delve into, interrogate, find out exactly what it is. Where are we failing in terms of making sure that these cases go to court and that perpetrators are brought to book.
And in other news trending this afternoon, the Youth for Climate Justice movement has emphasized the urgent need to prioritize environmental protection, even as Zambia continues to attract foreign direct investment (FDI). Biosam Training Driving School Chief Executive Officer Mr. Anthony Samuhandu has expressed concern over drivers who ignore pedestrian crossings, putting lives at risk. And now in news from across our borders, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump have met in Rome ahead of Pope Francis' funeral. Officials from both parties confirmed the meeting had taken place, with the White House describing it as very productive. No further details on the discussion have been released. Trump and Zelensky are attending the service in Vatican City alongside other heads of state and royals, including Prince William, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, and French President Emmanuel Macron. Their meeting comes one day after Trump said Russia and Ukraine were very close to a deal, following talks between his envoy Steve Witkoff and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Friday. For more, here's a roundup from the BBC.
The funeral of Pope Francis is taking place at the Vatican, attended by huge crowds. The congregation applauded as the Pope's coffin was placed on a platform outside St. Peter's Basilica under bright blue skies. The White House has said a meeting in Rome between Donald Trump and President Zelensky ahead of the Pope's funeral was very productive. A US spokesman said more details of the discussion would follow. North Korea has unveiled its largest ever warship at a special ceremony attended by the country's leader, Kim Jong-un. Mr. Kim said the 5,000-ton destroyer was designed to handle various weapon systems. Virginia Giuffre, who accused the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and Britain's Prince Andrew of sexually abusing her as a teenager, has taken her own life. Prince Andrew always denied Ms. Giuffre's accusations. They reached an out-of-court settlement. Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency says 4 people have been killed after an Israeli strike on Gaza City. A further 30 are feared trapped under rubble.
And in sports news, the Zambian trio of Copa Queen captain Barbara Banda, Priska Chilufya, and Grace Chanda continued to shine brightly as they played key roles in Orlando Pride's thrilling 3-2 win over Angel City in the NWSL. Banda, who started the match, scored a crucial equalizer in the 76th minute, her fourth goal in just 6 matches to keep Pride in contention before the eventual win. Chilufya also earned a starting spot and impressed before making way for Ali Watt in the 59th minute, while Chanda came off the bench as a 72nd minute substitute for Angelina, adding fresh energy to the midfield. The Zambian Stars' contributions have been pivotal as Orlando Pride continues their strong run in the league. And now the weather. Reduction of rainfall over Western Province is expected, while the rest of the country will be partly cloudy and windy at times with a chance of isolated rain. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news part. Before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Ministry of Agriculture has categorically distanced itself from a misleading advertisement currently circulating on social media platforms titled Expression of Interest for the Agriculture Small and Micro Enterprises SMEs Grant Initiative 2025. The Lusaka City Council LCC has issued a stern warning to business owners who illegally sell liquor during long weekends in a bid to maximize profits, urging them to immediately desist from the practice. And finally, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump have met in Rome ahead of Pope Francis' funeral. For more news, follow us on Facebook and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. And on behalf of the entire news crew on the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.